The BRICS nations are moving ahead in a strategic way, not with military force, but by making the most of the power of information. Russia is calling on the whole group to get involved in a sector that is arguably more influential than any weapon: media and communication. As they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. All forms of media, from print press to TV, film, and social networks, are seen as tools of soft power. Soft power is about a country influencing and persuading other international actors through non-coercive means like culture, political values, and diplomatic relations. Unlike hard power, which relies on military or economic force, soft power is about attraction and building consensus without resorting to force. Journalism and media are really important for a country's soft power. By sharing information, cultural values, and political perspectives, the media influence international public opinion and shape how a nation is seen abroad. Hollywood's movie industry is a great example of this. It has played a big part in the US's soft power, spreading simple but powerful messages like Americans are good, others are bad. Although these messages may seem simple or even a bit boring at first glance, they are backed by a lot of research that requires a lot of human and financial resources. In the world of politics and economics, dualism often shows up in two concepts: propaganda, when discrediting news that doesn't fit a certain narrative, and impartial reporting, when it serves the interests of one party. You could even have a whole discussion about fact checkers working for social platforms, but let's set that aside for now. The debate around impartial information is pretty complex and surprisingly often biased. And this isn't just an issue in so called autocracies, a term that shows how powerful words can shape perceptions. It's also a big issue in some part of the world that think of themselves as liberal democracies, another set of labels that might not reflect reality anymore. During the Cold War, with the Berlin Wall still standing, totalitarian regimes were punishing citizens who expressed dissenting opinions or falsehoods contrary to the state narrative. Modern liberal democracies allow free expression, which set them apart from those behind the Iron Curtain. There were other freedoms that were exclusive to the West, but those differences are now becoming less prominent. This is not due to an increase in liberty in the East, but rather a decline in freedom in the West. We could talk about Julian Assange's story, or the recent arrest in France involving Telegram CEO Pavel Durov, who was pressured by the French government to hand over user data. Russia also pressured him, but democratic France won out. Or we could mention Elon Musk's clash against Brazil, a BRICS member, over removing accounts which were promoting election fraud. Initially, he resisted, but eventually he gave in completely. It seems inevitable that soon Musk will give in to the Digital Services Act too. Speaking of European Union, don't forget the European Freedom of the Media Act. Did you notice that they call it the Freedom Act, when in fact it is a restriction on freedom of speech that can lead to more spying on journalists and their sources, which is totally against press freedom and will shrink the space of press freedom. It is not a great time for those who dissent from mainstream thinking, given how things have changed. It used to be hoped that the web would foster citizen journalism, but now we are moving towards an obscurantist world where the citizen is increasingly controlled and silenced with severe punishments, as is happening these days in the UK. A world no longer raises its voice even when state violence targets professional journalists, even in war zones like Donbass and Gaza. The BRICS could be a way forward, offering new, innovative, and genuinely democratic approach in areas that need courage to demonstrate different alternatives to the collective West. So after this long but necessary bit of background, let's talk more about the 7th BRICS Media Summit, which was held from 13th to 15th September 2024 in Moscow. This meeting was a big step forward in media collaboration among BRICS countries and an expanding group of nations interested in joining BRICS Plus, or a total of 45 countries. The summit showed how important the media is in creating a more balanced world. It also brought together media outlets from the global south to promote truth, objectivity, and pluralism in a media landscape that is often dominated by Western narratives. In his opening speech at the BRICS Media Forum, Russian President Vladimir Putin really stressed with a special tone the phrase real freedom of speech, which reflects different opinions, enables the search for compromises and common approaches to solving the world's problems, and that media play a significant role in building a just world order by giving people an objective and unadulterated picture of the world. Putin's focus on a media landscape that reflects a range of perspectives aligned with the summit's goal of promoting fairness in global media representation, particularly in an era of growing multipolarity. His message was echoed by Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov, who called for more information sharing among BRICS members to counterbalance the dominance of Western media narratives. This spirit guides our event coverage, with the hope that these words will become a reality worldwide, respecting diverse views inclusively everywhere, always. The summit has been going for over a decade now and has really come into its own. It's a great platform for media cooperation, bringing together both the traditional BRICS members and the newer partners from BRICS Plus. This year's summit brought together representatives from over 45 countries, including the newly admitted BRICS members Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, as well as countries that have applied for membership. These countries, which together account for almost half of the global population and 30% of the global economy, offer a strong alternative to Western-dominated media channels. The plenary session, called "The Role of the BRICS Media Community in Strengthening Stability and Cooperation in Multipolar World," brought together some big names in media, including José Juan Sanchez, president of Brazil's CMA Group, and Yu Eugene, Secretary General of China's People's Daily. These figures showed how important it is for the media to stop misinformation spreading and help BRICS nations understand each other better. Sanchez talked about the problem of fake news, saying that misinformation is damaging modern society, especially with the rapid growth of digital media. He said that BRICS media should work together more to combat disinformation and promote truthful, fact-based journalism. This was echoed by Tarek Abdel Ghaffar Tawil of Egypt's Middle East News Agency, who said that discussions and cooperation are important in fighting disinformation in the rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. Just a quick note to be clear on the concept of fake news. As bloggers and content creators, we are always a bit skeptical of politicians who use these terms, no matter where they are from. It is true that false information exists, but fighting it with censorship instead of debate and data analysis carries a significant risk. It increases the likelihood that these terms will only be used as rhetorical tricks to silence dissenting voices. We hope that we have also satisfied viewers who think we are biased in our analysis. So said, let's move on. The summit participants were united in their condemnation of the pressure exerted on media outlets in BRICS countries by Western governments. Sergey Lavrov made it clear that the West is being hypocritical when it comes to freedom of speech. He said that while the West claims to champion freedom of speech, it is actively suppressing independent voices, particularly those from Russia and other non-Western nations. Lavrov highlighted the prosecution and sanctioning of Russian journalists by the United States as prime examples of double standards in the Western narrative around free expression. The speakers at the summit said that the BRICS media community needs to work together to fight back against Western media dominance. TASS Director General Andrei Kondrashov pointed out that it is important to work together and use new technology to fight the fake news and lies that the Western media is spreading about the BRICS nations. The summit saw some great collaborative agreements with a focus on sharing information, joint media training, and using AI in journalism. The summit ended with a declaration that the BRICS media community promised to work towards building a fair and multipolar world order. The declaration called on all the countries taking part to stick to the rules of equality, respect other countries' sovereignty, and promote unbiased journalism based on facts. The summit also recognized the growing role of BRICS Plus in reshaping global media landscapes, offering an alternative to Western-dominated information channels. The summit also looked at how new technology is changing the media. Ghaffar Tawil also pointed out that future media cooperation within BRICS should include sharing news, using media resources together, and training young journalists. The potential of AI in boosting news distribution was also looked at as a way for BRICS media outlets to stay ahead of the game. One of the standout moments at the summit was the BRICS Family Photo Exhibition, which showcased work from photojournalists representing Brazil, China, Egypt, India, Iran, Russia, and South Africa, among others. The exhibition showed the cultural diversity of the BRICS nations with examples of shared values and traditions as well as differences. The exhibition showed how important it is for the media to do more than just report the facts. They should also be celebrating and preserving cultural heritage, especially in today's global media environment, which is becoming increasingly homogeneous. As the summit wrapped up, everyone was looking forward to building on the BRICS Media Alliance before the BRICS Summit in Kazan at the end of October 2024. The agreements and declarations made at the summit paved the way for continued media cooperation with a focus on promoting a multipolar world order based on fairness, truth, and respect for sovereignty. In today's fast-changing world, the BRICS Media Network can play a big part in the fight for media freedom and truth. By getting independent media outlets from across the global south to work together, BRICS is not only challenging Western dominance in the media, but also providing a platform for different perspectives and stories that show the real diversity of the world today. Well, while this platform still allows us to telling what's going on in the BRICS environment, we will be here to do it unbiased and with the right hope and enthusiasm. But we need your support with a like, a subscription, and your comments. And if you want to show more support, you can make a donation via YouTube Super Thanks or on our Buy Me a Coffee page. It will be a big help to guarantee a good coverage of the Kazan Summit in October. Thanks for watching.